Okay, 7.2 is Intergovernmental Protocol Working Group. Again, was referred from the Committee of the Whole, April 2nd, 2024. This was a motion put forward by Councillor Isaacson. I would ask if she would like to read that.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I move that Council appoint Councillors Dowd, Almeida, and Isaacson to an intergovernmental protocol working group intended to gather regularly with elected representatives from Tlaamin Nation with an initial purpose to develop a terms of reference for such a working group, including working on recommendations to update community accord protocols to be brought back to Council for deliberation and potential adoption.
Seconded by, excuse me, Councillor Elliott. Councillor Isaacson, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is part of trying to find a way forward and try to find a way forward that will have success. In having a working group, it allows a small group of individuals to get together, not make any decisions on behalf of council, but do some brainstorming, engage in dialogue, and try to work towards something that can be brought back to both parties to deliberate and vote on. Ideally, you know, a working group is set up in a way that the meetings will get called, both parties will attend, generative discussion will happen, and the outcomes of those discussions will be brought back to council and reported back in an accurate way. And this is very much an exploratory motion. I can't dictate what I think should be on the terms of reference. That would be up to a group to discuss and for each of our respective bodies to deliberate and vote on. But this is an attempt to find a way forward in a good way and in a way that could help us set us up for success, because we're not there right now.
Okay. I'm going to follow the normal procedure we would follow if there was a staff report. And we'll start by asking whether or not anybody has any questions of Councillor Isaacson. No? Okay, then I will ask a question. When you talked with the Haggis on this issue, what was his position on the need and value of this type of motion going forward?
The discussion was not very long and thorough, so I don't think I could speak to what he said there, but in brainstorming potential ways to move forward, this was something that I proposed as an option, and he thought it was a potentially good idea.
Okay, and one last question is, what barrier do you see that exists today that would impede our CAO to setting up any type of dialogue either with staff or with elected officials?
I mean, my understanding is staff already do meet. As for elected officials, I mean, council has not given staff direction to set up meetings with a small number of councillors. We've just passed a motion to let staff know that we support the C3s, but they haven't received direction in this manner yet, and so it's important for council to establish our will so that staff are clear on what they want, what we want them to work on.
Councillor Dowd.
So I support this resolution. When you have two sides that are not talking, if it's a family matter, community matter, or an intergovernment matter, it's a good idea to get them talking. I've talked earlier.
Sorry, Councillor Dowd, do you have a question for Councillor Isaacson? We'll have an opportunity after the questions are addressed.
All the questions were over, Mr. Mayor.
No, if you just wait, I would see if there's questions, and then we'll come back to you. Councillor Palm.
I have one question that follow up from our Committee of the Whole discussion, and that was that during the Committee of the Whole discussion, Councillor Isaacson, you were asked if you had consulted the mayor in regards to the motions on the table. I believe your answer was you had not. And you were also asked whether you had consulted staff on these motions, and I think you said that you made them aware of them. So I've got to, credit you for your due diligence here. Did you craft these two motions on your own, or did you have someone help you?
I crafted them on.
Very good. Well done. So, Your Worship, that's my one question for now.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, I'll now move to Councillor Doubt.
Thank you. Oh, I'm in favor of this resolution. As I said before, it's in the best interest of the city to have a good corporate relationship with our neighbors, the Tlaamin Nation, and the regional district, the Cathett Regional District. That's not happening right now. It's been within the ability of staff and the mayor to get this going over the last just about 2 years now, but it hasn't happened. But we need to do something, in my view, to make it happen. I really agree with what Councillor Southcott was saying before, is this has an impact on the economic development of the city of Powell River. When we go to a housing forum to talk about how we're going to build housing and how we're going to get the federal and provincial governments involved, and they talk about funding housing projects, the first thing they say is we will be investing in communities where there is a good relationships between the city and First Nations people. So there is value in building those relationships. The value in this motion is it gets a working group together who can have heart-to-heart meetings in a good way to try to find a protocol to set up so we can explain how those meetings are going to happen, so all of the public will be aware and everybody on council will get to agree on the protocol for having those meetings. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a way to reach out to our neighbors and to work together, and I support it 100%.
Councillor Southcott.
Thank you, Your Worship. I also support this for similar reasons to Councillor Doubt. This is a working group. It's not a C3. It's not a formal committee. I know you have DeHagis's number on your phone. Well, I don't know that, but I'm betting you do. You can phone him. The mayor can phone DeHagis. This is kind of these positions have a level of privilege, and I know you have done that. So you can do that. And that's why I support as well having the 3 councillors who are named to this working group. I support that, even though I kind of was wanting to or hoping that I might be part of that, because I have existing relationships with the nation, with people in the nation. But I'm really glad to not be, or I'm glad to support 3 and not myself for those very reasons that I said, because this is not a big deal. It's a baby step. But when you're at that point, I think we're at a point where we need to take this kind of a baby step. Thank you.
Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I want to thank Councillor Isaacson for bringing this motion forward. It's courageous and I appreciate it. We have grant requests that require good relationships. We have ambitions to work on housing that require good relationships. We have matters to discuss around services that require good relationship, and I think our staff are doing those, but I'm not entirely convinced that we wouldn't be further along in those discussions if our political parties were not get, if we were talking more often. I think things would be moving along a little better. On the concern about whether the mayor should be part of the working group or not, I think in making baby steps, you don't necessarily put your largest boot forward. And should we do that, that would indicate that we would, on the reciprocal side, that the Haggis should also join. It may be much more practical to have folks who are a little more junior to start out this baby step. The working group is mentioned in our community accord as a way to move forward when we need to. The status quo of where we're sitting today is not particularly good. We need to do something to change that. I'm willing to try this. I haven't seen a better proposal put forward in the last year and a half, and so I'm going to support the motion.
Councillor Pom.
Yes, Your Worship, as you stated previously, we have been told to sort of stand down in terms of meetings, breaking bread with the Tlaamin Nation recently. But we seem to want to keep pressing forward and causing pain, dissension, division within our city. I don't understand the direction that we're going when we have so many major issues to deal with in this city on our plate at this time. But this council seems to want to make this the #1 priority. And they have been for the last year. I don't get it. All we have to do is refer to our tax increase coming up later in tonight's agenda and where we're going to find the money to survive. Now, when did we get in trouble? Going down the road that we find ourselves in now with all this division and consternation in our community. We got into trouble because we went behind closed doors in a protocol working group to arrive where we're at today. That has caused the dissension in this town because our citizens feel like they're shut out. They're taking opinion polls on their own to have a voice. And we want to go behind closed doors again? Please tell me that's not true. Because we want to put this and stand down, quiet down, like Tlaamin is doing right now, so that they can host their election without all this noise. And we can have a fair representation of what we're working with going forward, not create more division in our community, more distrust, because this is what this will create, more distrust from the residents of Powell River. I can't say it any clearer than that. And I will be voting against this motion, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Armida, did I miss your hand? You have anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors Doubt, Southcott, and Elliott already shared similar comments to mine, so I didn't bother adding my hand to that conversation. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.